cars are going double file. We're about ready to get going, Kyle.
Yeah, doubling up, and this is a 45-minute race here with a 30-car field in Toyota GR Cup North America, the third to last race of the season, DJ, and they approach that yard of bricks.
They work their way into the VP acceleration zone here at this point. Tyler Gonzalez, Will Rogers waiting to get the signal from Tom Hansing as there goes the green, and we are racing in Indianapolis. It's a good getaway from Tyler Gonzalez. It looks pretty neat and orderly through the rest of the field. A little bit of three wide farther back. Gresham Wagner not able to get the best run necessarily. It looks like, though, that's going to be Kohlbecker moving his way up into second position. Jackson Bell challenging for third.
Oh, big lunge up the inside. We're 4-5 wide into the first turn, but so far, no. The 76 of Clemens spins right in front of the field. Kemper has to stop to avoid running into him. One car spins around. Everyone else manages to miss.
And it looks like Kemper there is going to be able to get the car going. Clemens not so sure if he is going to be able to go. Farther back in the field, that's the number 28 machine there of Justin Piscatell, slicing and dicing with the 23 as well. They try to get themselves onto the back straightaway now, down home and away. Let's see if anybody's brave enough to make a move one way into 7.
All right, so one car went for a slide, and we almost got through there without incident, but Tyler Gonzalez weaving down the back straightaway to get some temperature in those Continentals. Now into turn 7, filtering through single file, but the safety car looks like it has been deployed. Yes, we have a full course yellow, DJ. And, well, there's the answer, the 37.
Yeah, that's the 37 machine there at that point from Precision Racing LA. Spencer Schmidt, what we saw coming through turn number 1. Gonzalez there playing a little bit of stack up. I think there actually may have been some contact. I see some debris going, but it looks like Gonzalez is now back on the loud pedal as we get back under racing conditions, and the green flag flies once again here at Indianapolis. Gonzalez has about a 2-car length lead, a good breakaway there for him. Spike Kohlbecker and Will Rogers. Jackson Bell holding on to P2. Kohlbecker to look down to the inside of Gonzalez. Is he going to go for it? No, he's going to hold off, but we've got a little bit of a stack up farther back in the field.
Is that the open road racing car? Is that an Eisman up the inside? Late on the brakes, though, is Wettingel into turn 1. That doesn't work, but they managed to make it. There's Gresham Wagner now sneaking through on the inside, following the 34. Jones and Weisenberg's turned around at turn 2.
Yeah, and I heard a little bit of a punch there. I think that may have been some contact. Thankfully, that machine's going to keep going as the 68 there. That is going to be Mia Lovell fighting, working her way forward here at this point. She's had a great opening lap. Oh, as Jones takes a big ride over the curves.
Yeah, Derek Jones cut turn 6 there. If you don't gain an advantage, that's okay, but you have to try to keep all 4 tires to the left of that blue and white curbing. Paul Bocuse has some damage on the right front. Very similar to what we saw at Sebring, with that same piece of bodywork hanging off the right front of that car. But filtering through 7, a bit more contact there with the 80 of Wettingel and the 8 car. We'll sneak one through. That's
Corey Lewis.
I wasn't sure if he was in this race versus the races that were here for Indianapolis, but good to see some star power from some GT racing ranks joining us here in Toyota GR Cup.
As we watch Gresham Wagner sending a big move down to the inside of turn 10 and 11, and it looks like Farron Davis has been turned around on the infield section here at the moment. However, that RVA Graphics by Speed Syndicate car will be able to get back and going, so we'll be able to stay under green flag conditions. Back to that battle, it looks like Gresham Wagner's been able to propel himself forward, getting past Mia Lovell here at this point, and that is just going to continue that charge here for Gresham.
Gonzalez leads the way, then Spike Kohlbecker, Will Rogers, Jackson Bell, and Aiden Yoder, your top 5. Then Piscatell, Kanan O'Connell, Tommy McCarthy, Jordan Segrini, and Gresham Wagner, the rest of your top 10. How about Gresham Wagner up to 10th place after only a handful of laps here at Indianapolis? Pretty impressive.
If you want a statement of intent from that TechSport Racing driver, you certainly have it, as it does look like also here at this point that we talked about that breakaway with Gonzalez, Kohlbecker, and Rogers up at the front of the field. Jackson Bell and Aiden Yoder have been able to close that back down yet again, and now it looks like the breakaway is between Yoder and Piscatell. There's about 10 to 15 car lengths in between them as the top 5 run pretty close together.
Yeah, now that you're strung out a bit, you can focus on tackling individual cars rather than groups of cars. We've still got a little side-by-side back here between Segrini and the number 18, a new livery on board the car here this week as he sweeps around the outside of the 23 of Tommy McCarthy. Big piece of debris through turn number 8, I believe, and that is the side skirt from that number 11 Davis car.
Yeah, that came off there at this point. Looks like here at this point, though, Segrini under a lot of pressure, so much pressure that his hazards are on, is now Wagner's going to make his way back up through the field past the number 23 of Tommy McCarthy. A pretty easy move there coming out of turn 11. It looks like Gresham really has that corner figured out. That's the second pass we've seen him make through 10 and 11 in that many laps.
Yeah, getting power down there is pretty critical, and you're unwinding the wheel to get yourself set up for turn number 12. And if you can get the power down and get to someone's inside, it's a great opportunity to sneak by. Wagner's going to put pressure now on Jordan Segrini up inside the top 10. Just a really impressive drive by the number 5 of Wagner. Maybe not surprising given how the season has gone, but Jordan Segrini, what an outstanding talent he has been in only a couple of rounds. He joined late in the season. Nashville Race 1 was his first event. He's just been very, very impressive, including a podium back at Sebring.
Yeah, and a podium sitter over the course of this year, Aiden Yoder, trying to think about maybe a move there on Jackson Bell going down into turn 1, but thought better of it. Aiden's had a little bit of a yo-yo season, sort of up and down through the order, not necessarily solidifying himself in the top 10s necessarily. We've seen him fall down a little bit more than that at certain rounds, looking very strong here today, and I like that heads up. Quite have the overspeed to get that pass on Jackson Bell, decided to back off and wait.
Hey, given how slippery it's been here so far today, I wonder if these low grip conditions are what Yoder really excels at. I think all the way back to Circuit of the Americas earlier in the year. That was the one race that we really had some wet weather, and he was exceptional in that race. So maybe the low grip conditions suit Yoder well. He's running very impressively in it now, as Wagner has already passed Kanan O'Connell now. That's now 7th place.
He just keeps moving on up. And yeah, we should bring attention to the fact that we did have some pretty substantial rain here over the course of yesterday and last night that really kind of reset this racing surface. Drivers also weren't really able to go get all that much practice time because of the rainy conditions. Spoke to a number of drivers that they said, you know what, this isn't really representative of what we're going to be running tomorrow, so we don't want to risk the car. So for a lot of these drivers, they're headed out onto this nearly 2.5 mile circuit, really for the first time in anger.
And a lot of the drivers in this series have never been to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is where you rely on your sim experience to know where the corners are, how late you can brake into the corners. That's something that you don't really want to learn in a race condition. So yesterday, you're right, they didn't get a lot of dry running, if any. So they went out on track when it was slippery and slidey, and while it's not much better today, there's not standing water and puddles to have to avoid. So keep that in mind as drivers navigate here. This is their first time, their first race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for many of them.
Oh, good battle here farther back in the field. That's Austin Dodge and Neil Lovell almost rubbing doors with each other. Right now, up ahead of him, that's going to be Jones.
Oh.
And it looks like the number 8 machine there, Corey Heim, making up some good moves. And Lovell getting her nose in there, almost making contact. I think she did actually make contact.
She got punted by Adam Eisman there, but she was able to cling to it. I think she turned in to make the apex fairly late, and Eisman already had the nose inside, so there was some contact, but they were able to hang on. O'Connell and Segrini battling for position, as is this group. Wettingel late on the brakes, cheats over, and knocks into the 16th place number 31 of Austin Dodge. He just kept moving right. I don't know if he knew that the 31 was there, BJ.
Yeah, that's a little bit of what that screams as to me. The number 76 also trying to get their way up into that conversation as well. That's Stephen Clements, who was turned around at the beginning of the race. And now they've got to be careful. We talked a little bit about that side skirt being out there. That really forces that area of the track coming through turn 9. That's pretty much a one-lane highway now.
Yeah, we talked about this at Sebring, that the debris on course, you know, as a driver, you can't really decipher what that is. It might just be a piece of plastic or paper, but you don't want to find out when you run it over, right? It's certainly not going to be good for your car. So you try to avoid it the best you can, even if punting it wouldn't be the end of your day. You don't want to be the one figuring that out.
Yeah, you certainly don't. More side-by-side, though. That's Tommy McCarthy and Paul Bocuse. Bocuse gets a really good run on McCarthy, going to be able to make that move almost as they cross the yard of bricks. And here comes Jackson Bell up to the inside there in the number 6 of Will Rogers. They're leaning on each other coming through 3.
Yeah, that's a great battle here between Rogers and Bell. And here comes Aiden Yoder into the fight with the Segra GR86, the blue and white car, trailing this 2-car duo for 3rd place. Now Yoder's got an exceptional run. What does he do with it, though? You have to get single file for 5 and 6. A lot of mud and gravel on the windshield of the number 2. He's had someone off track ahead of him.
Yeah, he certainly has. And I think Yoder found his progress just a little bit blunted there. As here comes Jackson Bell taking that look down into the inside of Will Rogers. Later on the brakes is the Californian. Misses the apex a little bit, though. Going to run wide. Is he going to be able to hold on now for turn 8? Yes, he is.
That was a great pass. He fully committed and was able to complete it. And Yoder right up to the back of the number 6 now. That was also a good run, but what do you do now? This is where we've seen Gresham Wagner make passes, but Yoder tucks in behind. He'll wait for a better, clearer opportunity to pass.
I wonder if he's going to have a little bit of a look here coming down into turn 12. Oh, that's Lucas Weisenberg again, almost looking like he's facing the wrong way. That's going through 7 and 8.
It's been a tough day for Weisenberg. Got turned around on the restart, and now We'll see if there was some contact here. It was on the inside of Garcia. Ooh, just kind of got hooked and turned around to the right. That was two cars that wanted to be in the same place at the same time.
Yeah, it certainly is. I can tell you, though, that Jackson Bell's able to hold on to that position right now over Will Rogers as they cross over the yard of bricks right now. Rogers takes a little bit of a look to the inside, or what will be the inside of turn one. Bell goes defensive. That could set up Rogers. Big jink down to the inside for Will Rogers as he tries to make the pass.
That was a huge move, and they're going to just scrape doors through turn number one. Bell runs all the way to the edge of the road. Rogers tries to cling to the quarter panel as they sweep through turn number two. What a move by Will Rogers, and now he's got the preferred line for turns 3 and 4.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. Oh, more contacts there made as Bell's going to get forced out wide. That's going to allow for Piscatell.
Yoder through the middle.
Yoder, three-way coming through, wide coming through. Here they go.
I can't believe they made that work. Yoder stuck it through the middle, and somehow they came out the other side, all pointed the same direction. That was phenomenal racecraft there by all three of those drivers to keep it pointed the right direction. Great move there by Yoder. He's up past Jackson Bell.
And who is that in the fourth car in that? Oh yeah, that's going to be the one and only Gresham Wagner, already involved in this conversation. So he is going to put himself in here and try to be able to gain on to what could be a podium after starting dead last in this field.
Well, if you needed more spice, Gresham Wagner will add it to your party, absolutely. Up through turn number 10 now and into 11. Wagner has been used this opportunity to get overlap on the cars ahead of him. Jackson Bell is the next on the chopping block, but Wagner looks like this time he'll stay in line into that 12th corner as Rogers tries to put some distance between himself and Aiden Yoder.
Well, what he wants, it's a big move down to the inside there at turn 13 for Gresham Wagner. Somebody coming down into pit lane out of that. That's Piscatell. Not sure what that is. Oh, drive-through penalty for Justin Piscatell for incident responsibility. Now, that was for contact with him in the number 46 of Lucas Weisenberg. That was that contact that we saw off of the restart.
Yeah, that was the restart contact. The other one was with, I believe, Michael Garcia. So interesting. So Piscatell will hit pit lane now as Yoder on the brakes into turn one. It's amazing how they accordion together on the binders here, leaning on that Bosch ABS to slow the car down from about 130 miles an hour to about 50 in the apex speed of that first corner. And Rogers is on defense for sure. He's got his eyes up in the mirror as they work their way through turn 4 and a hungry group of cars behind him. Wagner's really the catalyst here. He's going to push Yoder to have to make this pass, otherwise Yoder will lose a spot.
Exactly, so we're going to see how that plays out. By the way, we are race control is taking a look at the incident between the 46 and the 30. That is that incident between Weisenberg and Garcia that you saw having Lucas Weisenberg spun out. Here comes Yoder trying to go around the outside, though, of Will Rogers down into turn 7. That's not going to play out. That is going to open up an opportunity here for Gresham Wagner to try to get a little bit of a run coming now down through turn 10. Wagner again able to carry that speed as much as possible. That is his section of the track. Signed, sealed, delivered. That's his.
Yeah, Yoder actually, I think, lifted to have to facilitate the 5 sliding ahead of him. That was really smart racing there. And was pressuring the 5 even as they entered turn 11. Gresham got on the curbing, and it's still a bit damp out there. You saw the car wiggle as soon as it touched that painted curbing. That was a huge deal back at Circuit of the Americas when the track was fairly dry, but the curbing was not, and that led to some incidents as well. 28 minutes to go, and it's still very, very interesting for third place right now.
Yeah, still very interesting. By the way, Gonzalez and Kohlbecker are absolutely streaking away at the front of the field. The gap in between the two is 2 seconds here at this point, but this is the battle to keep our eyes on. Although it does look like Aiden Yoder's got a little bit of a better run here on Gresham Wagner coming down into turn 1. Does Yoder decide to poke his nose out? The Precision Racing LA driver going to stay in line. And here's the one thing to keep in mind here about this, Kyle. Rogers drives for Godwin Motorsports, Gresham Wagner obviously for TechSport. Yoder and Bell, both Precision Racing LA drivers. We can maybe see a little bit of teamwork coming in between the two.
Yeah, the 6 of Rogers had a bit of a moment through turn 4. Wagner widens out the exit, now tucks in behind for the run down home and way, but Aiden Yoder got a great run. He's going to give Wagner a shove here and maybe create the action himself by pushing Wagner forward. Here comes that 5 to the inside, the TechSport Racing car, past the 6 Godwin Motorsports machine into turn 7, and Yoder will follow him through the open door.
And that's exactly what Aiden wanted to have happen there. And now look at this. Jackson Bell takes the opportunity on his teammate Jackson, chucking the car up into the inside, going into turn 8 and 9, and now he's going to have the preferred line for turn 10. A little bit close on the exit curving there, but great heads up from the Californian.
Yeah, both of them raced each other very cleanly and very fairly as teammates. That was well done by both, but Bell